Coming up in this not-so-much sailing adventure, I rip out the shitter, I murder some foam, and I state the blatantly obvious.
It stinks!
But first, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel and leave a comment too. If you'd like to help me make more content like this, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Let's get into it.
I'm only in California this time for a month, and I kind of had in my mind's eye that I'd be sailing around in circles and having a blast, but the reality of the situation is that I've got a lot of things that I need to kind of fix and keep up, especially since I'm leaving the boat for longer periods of time. I'm also reconsidering my bedding situation. Right now I'm sleeping in the back stern back there. It's been working good, but to be honest with you, I haven't been that comfortable since I've been back on the boat. It's kind of hard to get in and out of, can't really move around a whole lot, so what I think I've decided to do is to turn that spot back into kind of like the shed area. That's where I'll put the dinghy, which is currently on the deck of the boat, so I can get that locked away and out of sight, out of mind, which would be good for when I leave the boat again. I'll be able to put my electric bike back there. I can't put my electric bike up front just because there's not enough room to get it between these two into this little doorway. So where do I sleep? That's the big question, because I don't really fit in the bow bunk area, the V-berth up front. It's just not long enough for me. The only other option is this area right here. So what I've decided I think I'm gonna do, basically turn this area into a full-time master suite bed area. The mattress, I'm just gonna get like a memory foam mattress on Amazon and cut it to shape. And then I've got to deal with my toilet situation here. He's no bueno. This is the toilet situation that I've had in there. I don't know if you can see any of that, but like these old toilets, like they constantly getting water coming into them. There's usually always a little bit of, yeah, see, kind of brown, gross water in there. Point is that I hate this system. I've done a ton of research on it. I've watched a ton of videos of people complaining about exactly the same thing. When the boat starts moving around and sloshing around, if you have any kind of liquid in that bowl, it's going to slosh out, and it's just gross. So what I've decided to do is to put a composting toilet system in. I've got a friend who's like dead against it. He doesn't think that the ladies are going to like it. But yeah, I'm going to build like a bench system here, and the whole bench thing that I'm going to build here is going to have a vent that goes up to this vent hole right here, so the whole toilet itself will be separately vented from the actual cabin of the boat. It doesn't matter how rocky and weird it gets, nothing's gonna spill, nothing's gonna break. I think I'm gonna bite the bullet, and even though this was all theoretically professionally done, and I'm probably devaluing my boat by pulling it out, the plan is to pull this sucker out and have a super simplified system that basically separates the urine and the feces into two separate receptacles. Anyway, that's the plan. Not as much, you know, like sailing as I'd want to do, I suppose, but just want to get all this stuff done so that maybe, like, if I don't get to do a ton of sailing on this trip, at least it'll be kind of ready to go. I think now's the time to do it. So get ready for a fun building montage. Okay, here we go, here we go. So the plan is to create like a new wooden sole, which will be like a nice flat ledge for something to slide in. And then the idea is to just like create a platform, so this whole area is the bed.
Somewhere in the middle of all that, I started work on the toilet situation, which meant a quick trip to the pump-out station.
Look ahead, look astern, look the weather in the lee.
Here I am doing that job solo, which can be tricky.
I see a deck to windward and a lofty ship.
My prop walk pulls the stern starboard, so I have to watch out that the bow doesn't scrape along the starboard finger. Coming in for a landing is always easier if you're coming in on your port side, I find. With a good blast to reverse, the forward momentum of the boat stops, and the prop walk pushes me gently into the dock. When the pumping was done, I had to exit the pump out station because some other fella needed to pump some. I know that if I just blast some reverse, Dagny will scrape and rub along her port side. So I find that simply muscling her into the right direction and then a little push off before climbing on board gets me out past any rub danger. And then the prop walk that happens when I finally put it into reverse is actually to my advantage. In this particular case, anyway. Coming back into the slip, I always aim for my port side. A little blast of strong reverse slows the boat, gently pushing us into the dock, and then I can simply step off and secure a bow and a stern line. Most valuable player for this job goes to the Ryobi portable shop vac. With a simple modification, it will suck liquid, which was very useful for the toilet work.
It stinks. Jesus. Get this outside. Okay, so the toilet is out. There's the new toilet, the seat that's going to go in, and what I've done, oh, by the way, as soon as I took out that old manky toilet, like the smell went away in here. It is just so much better already. I fucking love it. I know there's a lot of work to be doing, or to be done still, but first thing I did was basically make a little stencil or whatever. I don't know if that's the right word, but like just using little pieces of cardboard and kind of taping them together. So I find that would be easier than actually measuring and trying to like get the right angles and stuff. So here we go.
One of my more clever tricks I pulled on this adventure was when I had to mark and drill the base plate so that it could be fastened to the floor using holes already in the floor. I started by making little paper towel wicks, which I shoved down into the holes. Then I added some hot sauce because I had no other liquid on the boat that would make a visible mark. Then I squished the bottom plate down, making marks that I could drill out. It worked perfectly. While I was working on the shitter, my new mattress arrived, which I released from captivity and then allowed to gasp for air on the dock.
Okay, so got all the cushions out. They're stored in the back there. That's where I used to sleep. But now I've got all the cushions out. You can kind of see what I did. Some of these panels are removable. Like that one is removable. Locks into place. And those two are removable, and that one is removable, so that I can still get into the storage lockers that are beneath this bed frame. That was important to me. And over here, basically I have these really big, I don't know what they're made out of. We'll see how long they last or how corroded they get. And that gives this center console a good deal of support, so it's nice and firm. Anyway, that's what it looks like before I put this mattress in. I gotta go outside and cut it to shape. It's gotta be, I think I've decided this gotta be 40 inches wide. Alright, there's the mattress is in. Man, it looks gigantic when it's down here, but when I was out on the deck, it looked really small, but it fits that space nicely. But that's it. There's my bed. I'm super excited about that.
Here's a quick shot of my new bed setup. It is still a work in progress, but very comfortable and only mildly funny looking. Then work continued on the toilet. Here I am using the stencil provided by the Throne Company so that you get the size of your hole just right.
that. There you go. So what if I sit down? Oh, my phone's in my pocket. Sturdy. A little high up. For the shorter users, they may need a little stool or something. But yeah. Starting to look like a toilet.
I had to shorten a standard 5-gallon bucket by about an inch so that it would fit under the throne. Then I glued some old plastic bottles together to make a urine collector. Now that's smart water. All these things, including a cheap 12-volt pump and some switches, get wired and plumbed together under the hood. Then I painfully drilled another hole in the black water tank and attached a new plastic fitting. Also had to drill a 2-inch diameter hole in the bench so that I can install the Throne composting toilet vent kit. The Throne pump and the Throne vent are controlled by some push-button switches. Finally, a proper toilet seat gets installed. Here you can see that the yellow button controls the pump, which pulls the urine out of the smart water container and pumps it into the black water tank or out through a through-hole. The blue button turns the vent fan on and off. All in all, I think the toilet looks pretty good. A little odd perhaps, but solid. I was super happy with going with the Throne composting toilet kit over purchasing a fancy Nature's Head job. I think this looks better, it'll be easier to maintain, and it didn't cost $1,000. I think I spent about $300 putting this Throne together. A few days later, I had the opportunity to test out the head while underway. There's an issue with the toilet seat not wanting to stand up, but it's not really a big issue. Clearly, there are 2 ways to utilize the Throne composting toilet. Currently, I'm using it in standing man mode. It's easy enough to hit the bullseye and has a bit of leeway for choppier conditions. Once you've finished your business, the smart water urine collector will need evacuating. Simply push the yellow button and listen. When the smart water urine collector is empty, push the yellow button again to turn the pump off. There was a tiny bit more foam murdering in the V-berth, but that was my bed and now new composting toilet done and dusted. It took about 2 weeks.
Oh, this is just a quick run through before I leave. Cleaned it all out. Finished the bathroom. In here, got my bed all situated. My bike's all tucked away. All the dinghies back in there. Dag leaf is fine, and I can't wait to come back.
I did manage to do a little sailing, which I'll show you in the next episode. Stay tuned for updates on the composting toilet situation. Let me know if you have any questions about what I used or why I did it. Thanks to all you new subscribers out there and folks who left comments. If you want to help me make more of this kind of content, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time when I finally get to do some sailing.